Now, let's return to things stateside. Donald Trump announcing that third bid for the White House to challenge Joe Biden in 2024, despite growing questions in his own party about whether he's up to it. And, questions from Rupert Murdoch, who called him Trumpty Dumpty. We're joined by global strategy advisor and US political expert Marco Vicenzino. Thank you very much for being with us again. As expected, he's announced it with some glitz and glamour in the ballroom of Mar-a-Lago, but indicating that perhaps it's still the same playbook. I mean, just looking at what he said, fake dossier, deep state, lobbyists and so on, it's more of the same.
Listen, he's seeking first mover advantage, dissuading other contenders from participating, potential contenders from participating. He wants to dominate the airways. And this also, the presidency also offers immunity from mounting legal cases that he has from the federal level and at the state level. Secondly, you have Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is the favorite of the party at present. Call it the new kid on the block, maybe.
Including many of the donors, it seems, of the Republicans behind the scenes.
The heavy Republican money, like Ken Griffin, for example, has put a lot of money behind them. What he faces is he has to prepare is for a two-front war of attrition. One against Trump and the other one's against the Democratic Party. And on the third part, you have President Biden. President Biden is he's ecstatic about the election results.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a victory. You could say maybe he broke even at most. But the reality is that he's announced that he's going to run. He hasn't announced it officially, but he's made it understood he's going to run. But what he has against him is age, his health, and legal challenges from within the Democratic Party.
Against Biden as well?
Yes.
OK. But interesting, of course, that Trump did not acknowledge that there was any problem with the midterms, that his particular personal candidates, in many cases, didn't really get the results they were hoping for.
And he never would. That's not like Trump. Trump is anything that's negative, you avoid it. Block it out of your mind. Focus on the positive. And if the the primaries were to be held today, he's still in pole position. Right. He has many, many advantages. And the advantages he has is, obviously being an ex-president, he has a core base. He's got a fundraising, although the fundraising network he has is diminishing over time. But by announcing so early, by seeking that primary advantage, there's a flip side to it, is the fact that if he goes on for months and months and people get tired of the high volume, you can call it Trump fatigue. If Trump fatigue sets in the next few months, his legal cases mount, the negative news against him mount, and the big party money starts to keep going to the alternatives, he runs into a problem. Yeah. And the problem he runs into is that he can be yesterday's news, and that's already started post-midterm elections.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, one of these groups, I think Club for Growth, it's called, the major donors group, already indicating that their polling data suggests that DeSantis is ahead in key states, maybe not overall, but that there's
that one you just mentioned, and two or three others have indicated the same thing, which is primarily early states of the primaries.
Yes.
Iowa and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Those two states are already showing DeSantis ahead by quite a few points. It's early stage.
Right. But so therefore, what does DeSantis do? Because a previous guest here indicated, look, DeSantis has got enough on his plate with Florida, where he's won a really great victory. But he can't suddenly say, I'm going for the presidency, because there'll be a lot of Florida people say, hold on, you've got a job to do for another 2 years.
Exactly. And it's in his best interest to do that job. What he has to do is avoid direct confrontation with Trump on the rhetorical front, focus on his job. Why did he win by 20 points, by nearly 20 points in Florida? Because he produces results.
And particularly that's from the Latino vote and from from women. The
state of Florida, the demographic makeup of the state of Florida, interestingly, is very reflective of the composition of the entire United States.
Right. Between
Latino, black, white, Northeastern, Midwestern. It's like almost like a laboratory for U.S. politics at large. And he's managed to break through on all these different fronts, all these different ethnic groups. Why? Because he sticks to the basic needs of people. He doesn't try to go beyond banging the drum. And in that sense, that's what the appeal of him. He appeals to the base of the party and beyond, particularly to the independents. And that's how the election in 2024 is going to be won.
Especially on the economy. Looking then to Biden, back on the international stage, seemingly some kind of rapprochement with China, that will do him well. But, as you say, looking at how old he is and seemingly how frail, again, a trip up the stairs, which seems to be his particular problem. There'll be lots in America thinking, is this really a president we want for another 4 years?
His age and his health was on full display during the campaign process, the campaign trail, the 2022 midterm elections. There were many gaffes, many mistakes. And if he's 80 years old now, if you go to it's going to be 2 years from now, this other election, he's going to be 82.
Which would make him even older than Reagan was, I think. Yeah.
If he displays what he displayed now in a worse way, it's not a future for the country. There needs to be a general change. He needs to exit gracefully, in my opinion, and pass the baton to a younger generation. And the Democratic Party and the Republican Party needs to do the same. That's exactly what's needed in America today.
Marco, thanks very much as ever, and we'll see what emerges. The whistle is blown. 2 years and waiting. Thank you very much indeed.